Welcome back, sports fans. Okay, today we're going to talk about the lies. The lies, the lies, the lies, the lies that Michael Jordan didn't have a left hand. Okay, so if you're saying Jordan didn't have a left hand, right, then he was not a skilled player. That's what you're pretty much saying. Okay, if Michael Jordan and what's to come, you guys think this is funny, right? But we're going to show you that most of the so-called skilled players in the LeBron era aren't really skilled guys at all. When we look at this list that I'm about to show you that's coming up. But yeah, if Michael Jordan didn't have a left hand, he would be in the top 10, maybe 5, maybe 15, maybe 20 all time of turnovers per game, right? Turnovers per game. Michael Jordan ain't nowhere to be found. Okay? Nowhere to be found. If you guys are saying this guy didn't have a left hand. Second of all, how do you win 3 gold medals in college with no left hand, right? How do you get drafted in the NBA with no left hand? How do you drop 63 points on a great defensive team? Dennis Johnson, Bird, Micheal, these type of guys with no left hand, right? How do you become a shooting guard with no left hand? How's that possible? If you're a point guard or a guard, there's no way you're going to the NBA without a left hand. They'd be stripping you all day. Right? What do you have? Like 10 triple doubles in 11 games or something like that? With no left hand, right? How do you attempt 22 shots per game and average 37, average 35, and so on with no left hand? You would basically have to be a spot up shooter, right? Maybe like a Klay Thompson, spot up shooter, maybe take a couple dribbles and then shoot like Klay Thompson with no left hand? How insane are these people talking about this? I mean, like Michael Jordan, I mean, this would have been exposed a long time ago, right? They would have been Joe Dumars. He would have been ripping Jordan up and down the court. Maybe like a Tim Hardaway. Maybe like a I forget this guy's name that played for the Bucks. Cindy Moncrief. He would have been ripping Michael Jordan up and down the court. You think you just gonna dribble around in the NBA as a guard? Maybe you could get away with this stuff if you was a forward, a center, right? With no left hand. But you think you're gonna get away with it as a guard with no? Wow, you guys are something else, right? So if I remember when Jordan switched hands in mid-air and did the layup in the 91 finals? What was that? Homie could shoot with his left hand. First of all, you got to know how to dribble with your left hand first before you can even shoot with your left hand. Okay? That's just that. I mean, this would have been exposed a long time ago. So what you guys do is you guys take a couple clips out of somebody's career when they maybe was dribbling to the left with their left and they mishandled the ball. I mean, you probably, if somebody's career is like 13, 15 seasons, you probably could come up with that maybe like 50 times. It's easy, right? We could come up with LeBron airballing maybe like 1,000 times in his career. And I'm not trying to be funny. Whether it's, taking a shot or a free throw. All this guy does is airball, because he really has no business shooting the ball, right? Sometimes he might hit and get lucky, but for the most part, this guy looks so awkward when he shoots because he's not a shooter. He doesn't practice this. You never heard of a teammate saying LeBron was in the gym just he shot 1,000 shots today. You never heard that, right? How about when he was young? You never heard that. Okay, just barrel to the basket, get your dunk, get your layup. That's what he does. I mean, this is looking more foolish by the day. What about when Jordan beat the professional players when he was an amateur before he went to the Olympics? 11 scrimmage games and he beat them 11 times. People like Larry Bird, Mark Aguirre, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Isaiah Thomas, all these dudes was on those teams. And I'm sure Dr. J, even though he wasn't really in his prime in '84, I'm sure he didn't want to go, especially after the first two butt whoopings that they put on these Hall of Fame players. A lot of them. Magic Johnson was on those teams. Michael Cooper was on those teams. The defensive specialist, the dude that be shutting everybody down, couldn't shut college players down, right? So if Michael Jordan would have not have had a left hand coming into college, I mean coming into the pros, he would have not have won all those 11 games, and they smoked them too. Some of them games weren't even close, right? So you guys got to stop. I mean, I wish I didn't even hear this because we're talking about some dude on what, Instagram or TikTok that don't even know basketball. I was around. I was around when Jordan was playing, right? I was a kid. I saw LeBron hit his first shot in the NBA from where? From the baseline. He took his first shot. He hit his first shot from the baseline. So when the LeBron fans argue with me, talking about I don't know basketball and I'm hating on LeBron, I'm not. I saw this guy's whole career. You guys didn't. I saw Michael Jordan's career since like 86, 87. You guys didn't. I saw Kobe's entire career. You guys didn't. Most of you guys. Most of you LeBron fans, right? So let's look at this. NBA players, most career turnovers per game. Since you guys said the 80s and the 90s was not skilled, right? So this is the top, I think, 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I think 18 players of all time that has the most turnovers per game, right? And when we look at these numbers, and you can go back and look for yourself, the only player on this list that averaged 10 assists per game was Magic Johnson. Okay, so I think he can be totally excused that you had 10, oh, well, over 10 assists a game. I think he averaged 11 point something. So Magic Johnson on this list is the only guy that averaged 10 or more assists a game, right? So let's go down this list and look at these guys before we get into the turnovers. We got Trey Young at 1, and then it's Russell Westbrook, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, John Wall, James Harden, Allen Iverson, Stevie Francis, LeBron James, Joel Embiid, Reggie Theus, Michael Ray Richardson, DeMarcus Cousins, Ray Williams, Bernard King, Kevin Durant, Gilbert Arenas, Dwayne Wade, right? So let's look at the LeBron era guys, right? The guys that played in the LeBron era. Okay, because you guys aren't going to put people like Kobe Bryant. You're not going to put people like, I don't know, Tim Duncan and say that's Jordan's era, right? Because they only played a couple years. We would consider them LeBron era guys. Now, I'm not trying to say they came LeBron's peak is the early 2000s, but the 2010s is its peak. But we still consider the early 2000s to about 2010 still the LeBron era. So out of 19 of these guys, let's count how many of these guys are on the most turnovers per game list, right? We got Trey Young, Russell Westbrook, let's see, John Wall, James Harden, Allen Iverson, Stevie Francis, of course LeBron James, Joel Embiid, um, let's see, Kevin Durant, Gilbert Arenas, Dwayne Wade, right? So let's do this. Trey Young is number one, 4.2. Russell Westbrook is 4.0. Magic Johnson is 3.9. Isaiah Thomas, 3.8. John Wall, 3.7. James Harden, 3.7. I keep saying Ray Allen. Allen Iverson, 3.6. Stevie Francis, 3.5. LeBron James, 3.5. Joel Embiid, 3.4. Right? Reggie Theus, 3.4. Michael Ray Richardson, 3.3. DeMarcus Cousins, 3.3. Ray Williams, 3.2. Bernard King, 3.2. Kevin Durant, 3.2. Gilbert Arenas, 3.2. And you got Dwayne Wade, 3.2. So you got Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, we can say Reggie Theus, Michael Ray Richardson. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we got Ray Williams, 6. 6 guys out of 19, the most turnovers per game. And the rest is in the LeBron era, right? Most turnovers per game. So we can easily say that these guys in the LeBron era, in LeBron, they don't have any handles, right? You guys say that these guys are the most skilled players of all times, right? They're fumbling the ball. They're making inaccurate passes. These guys aren't skilled. And nobody on that list is averaging 10 or more assists per game, except for Magic Johnson. So what's the excuse? You said Michael Jordan couldn't dribble with his left hand, but yet he's not even in the top 25 in most turnovers per game. They would be ripping Michael Jordan up and down the court. Those Knicks teams, good defensive teams, they would be ripping him up and down the court. Right? Those Charlotte teams, ripping him up and down the court. Those Pistons teams in the 80s, you remember those teams? When did you hear that they was ripping Michael Jordan up and down the court? Now, did he have turnovers? Yes. Everybody has turnovers, but I'm talking about when we get into most turnovers per game, Michael Jordan should be up there if he has no left hand, especially when you're attempting 22 plus shots per game. That's easy, especially when he's young and he's doing all this driving. You'll be able to rip him like it's nothing, right? Or he would be fumbling the ball out of bounds. But yet, the majority of the LeBron era guys have the most turnovers per game in NBA history. Does that seem like it would be some guys that you would want on your team as far as winning, to win a championship? Wow. I don't think so. So when we look at this list again, the LeBron era guys, like Trey Young, Russell Allen Iverson. Look. I love AI, but the dude was a turnover machine, right? And he played in the LeBron era. You're not gonna win a whole bunch of championships when you're turning the ball over. Stevie Francis. Um, for what it's worth, you might say Joel Embiid isn't LeBron era. I don't know what year did he come in, like 15 or something like that. I had to look, maybe 18. But he's playing in this era that you guys called the most skilled, right? I don't see any big name centers in this top 19 or in the top 20 that played in the 80s and 90s that were turnover machines per game. Because all time turnovers, that's longevity. This means more right here. Points per game, blocks per game, steals per game, turnovers per game. That really tells the story right there. You got John Wall on here. DeMarcus Cousins, he's a center. Gilbert Arenas, as much as he talks, right? He talk about skilled players. This guy is turning the ball over 3.2 a game. Right? And then you got Dwayne Wade turning the ball over 3.2 times a game. So I really don't want to hear nothing else about these guys being more skilled when they're clearly in the top 20. It's full of turnover machines, right? LeBron James, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Trae Young, Russell Westbrook, John Wall. That's why John Wall he didn't ever become nothing. He's a turnover machine. Right? And if you're averaging 3 turnovers a game, you better be getting at least 9 assists. And most of these guys ain't doing that, right? Where's John Stockton on that list? I don't see him. All-time leader in what? Assist. Right? And he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's right behind Magic Johnson, right? All-time assists per game. Shouldn't he be on there? That's what you call skill right there. When you don't even you're not even in the top 20. So you guys tell me what you think, because these guys, you're getting a little desperate right now. But when we look up real facts like turnovers per game, it means that you guys can't handle the ball. We see you travel and carry. And obviously you can't make accurate passes, because that goes along with turnovers too, right? It's just not, fumbling the ball or somebody stealing the ball from you. You're making inaccurate passes. And the sad part is we got people like Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, all these type of old head dudes that could just destroy this era, right? But guess what? They can't, because they work for a network that works for the NBA. They know better. They know this era isn't better than the 80s or the 90s, isn't more skilled. The competition is really a joke. You could go out to your local playground right now, your YMCA, whatever, and it would be more competitive. Hell, you can watch college basketball, men's college basketball, and it's more competitive than the NBA. We got to be told these guys are good. That's how competitive it is. I'm sick of it. Like I said earlier, I'm sick of Anthony Edwards. He's not top 10 in nothing. Scoring, assists, rebounds, field goal percentage, 3-point percent, nothing. He ain't top. I don't even think he's top 20 in anything. Maybe scoring like 18th or it's something crazy, 12th. Don't tell me this guy's the next Michael Jordan. I don't want to hear nothing about it. If you go watch my other video about him, I don't want to hear nothing about it. When there's big games, what did Michael Jordan do? You was going to pay. He didn't care if he was going to lose or win. Yes, he wanted to win, but the stakes were high when you played Michael Jordan. He wasn't going to let you embarrass him. He was going to dunk on your head. He was going to kill you from the mid range. He wasn't going to be missing his free throws. He wasn't going to be turning the ball over. Right? You guys tell me what you think.